Early this morning, I was in a meeting at the KICC where 40 ministers from Africa are assembled. Many of them will go back home and they will report that they came to Kenya. But the reality is that they came to Nairobi. That is the essence of the importance of Nairobi. When Nairobi works, Kenya works. When Nairobi fails, Kenya pays the price. That is why we must speak plainly and with candor to each other today. The Honorable Speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi, Kennedy Ngondi. Honorable members of the County Assembly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. 13 years after the birth of devolution under the Constitution of Kenya, I stand before you today as the first president and head of state to address the County Assembly of our capital city. I do so with clarity, with conviction, and with a profound sense of duty. Because Nairobi is not only another county, it is not just another county. Nairobi is the capital of the Republic of Kenya. It is the seat of our sovereignty, the face of our nation, the engine of our economy, and the standard by which much of the world judges our nation. On sanitation, we are undertaking what should have been done many years ago. We are building 2 parallel 27-kilometer trunk sewers along the Nairobi River corridor. We are developing a 60,000 cubic meter per day treatment plant and expanding last mile sewer connectivity, and also supporting the long-term expansion of sewage systems for this city. You all know I have visited those areas with you. Oscar, you remember, we were in your corner. Ringo there, you know, we were in your corner. I was there with you. Usiseme hukuona ile kazi tunafanya pale. In fact, it was in your ward that we entered the sewer line, you know. Sewer line big enough for that tall man to go in, standing. And because a functioning city must also be a safe city, we will strengthen urban security through establishment of a Nairobi Metropolitan Police framework to support coordinated, responsive, and effective security management across the capital. You agree, honorable members, but that there are some parts of the city that become very difficult to go because of insecurity. And in further improving security in Nairobi, I have directed the Ministry of Interior to commence implementation within the next 60 days of enforcements to the Integrated Command and Control Communication Center in Nairobi. This will improve CCTV camera coverage across the city and accelerate digitization within our security services, including digital occurrence books, advanced data analytics, and artificial intelligence systems, all aimed at improving responsiveness, efficiency, and turnaround time in our police stations. The Raila Odinga International Talanta Sports Center is nearing completion. As we prepare as we prepare for the 2027 AFCON tournament. The Bomas International Convention Complex is being developed to strengthen Nairobi's position as a premier MICE destination. Plans are underway to expand Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and reinforce Nairobi's role as the aviation gateway to our region. On roads and drainage, we are implementing a 247-kilometer urban roads program for the city of Nairobi. Many people would ask me, where is 247 kilometers in the city of Nairobi? Yes, there is. The first phase of 63 kilometers is already ongoing and expected to be completed in the next 2 months. When I came here, I saw my friend Kados. Yes. And Kados confirmed to me that what I am saying here is going on in his ward. In fact, he was telling me that road is being built day and night. Yes. Correct, Kados? Yes. So I'm not talking stories, friends. We are matching what we are saying with what we are doing. Another 58 kilometers commenced this month, and subsequent phases are being funded to begin without any delay. This will be complemented by drainage interventions in identified flood hotspots so that we can stop managing floods as annual surprises and start treating them as infrastructure failures that must be fixed. I have agreed with Governor Sakaja that I will be visiting those roads as they are ongoing in the city of Nairobi. Because we have many naysayers. So we want to actualize what he said, seeing is believing. We are also extending safe electricity through last mile connectivity in informal settlements, beginning this month with Hospital Ward and moving into Kibra, Korogosho, Mathare, and Kamukunji within the next 90 days. Today, while I was going to my office, when I opened my phone, I saw a message from the member of the County Assembly of Hospital Ward. My good friend Mark there. And in that message, he was confirming that he has seen the steps being made towards actualizing. Mark is here, right? We are expanding water supply through strategic interventions. And before I mention that, I have been to many parts of the city with some of you guys. And we know how a neighborhood whose lights have been switched off, we know how it looks. In the heart of the city, to have a neighborhood that has no light is an indictment on us as leaders. That is what we seek to correct. On matters water, I have said including Ngedu Kigiri Waterworks. We are changing so that we can add 50,000 cubic meters of daily water supply. The Gigiri Shauri Moyo evacuation corridor is also being advanced to stabilize supply in high demand zones, including areas supporting affordable housing development. We are deploying a budget from the Ministry of Water, working together with the county government to make sure that we realize this. Honorable members, we are delivering a safer city through the installation of 50,000 street lighting points, new ones. We are agreeing with the city government of Nairobi, and I believe that the honorable members in this assembly will participate in making sure that the right areas are served. We will be including another 40,000 existing lights, which today don't work, and the installation of another 10,000 new solar and smart street lighting. So eventually, we will be looking at 100,000 lighting points in the city of Nairobi. Fabrication is already underway. Installation begins this month, April. By end of May, Nairobi will begin to see feasible improvements across key corridors and neighborhoods. And within 6 months, this city will be markedly brighter, safer, and more secure. I am saying this to the representatives of the people of Nairobi so that you can hold us to account. Taken together, these investments are not random projects. They are part of a deliberate national strategy to renew, modernize, and reposition Nairobi as a functional, competitive, orderly, and globally respected capital. Honorable members, ultimately, this is not just about money. It is not just about plans. It is not just about programs. It is about leadership. Let me repeat, it's about leadership. That's what it is. That's what it boils down to. It's about whether we, in this generation, will finally do what others before us feared to do. Will we, members, will we confront resistance when it comes? Will we stand firm when vested interests complain? Will we push through when cartels fight back, because they will? Will we make the decisions that are right, even when they are not immediately popular? Or will we retreat into the same old cycle of hesitation, excuses, blame, and underperformance? These are the real questions before us. Because leadership is not tested when decisions are easy. Leadership is proven when the right thing is difficult. Leadership demands courage, discipline, sacrifice, and the willingness to endure criticism in the short term so that future generations may inherit something. History will not remember us for history will only remember us for what we changed. History will not hold us to account when we fail to do the wrong thing. The responsibility, honorable members, is yours and mine today. And as I said earlier, it's never too late for us to do the right thing. So, let us not be the generation that inherited a great capital and left it broken. Let us be the generation that finally imposed order where there was disorder, that restored dignity where there was neglect, that defeated cartels where there was capture, that chose reform over fear, that chose posterity over popularity, that chose courage over convenience, that chose to build, not merely to talk. Let us be the generation that finally made Nairobi work. Let us do it now, firmly, unapologetically, and without turning back, together. Solid waste management, one of the clearest symbols of Nairobi's disorder, is also being fundamentally overhauled. The Nairobi City County government will provide, actually has already provided, 100 acres of land for a material recovery facility and multiple transfer stations across the city. Work is already underway at Dandora, where 40 trucks are on site clearing legacy waste, and additional capacity is being mobilized. My good friend from Dandora, I saw him, the member of parliament for the county assembly. That good man, I saw him somewhere. Yeah, can bear us witness. And within 3 months, we expect the core system of this facility to be operational. Within 6 months, Nairobi should begin to experience the kind of functioning waste management system that any serious capital city should already have. Are you keeping the timelines? Yes. And let me say this clearly. The national government is not standing at the sidelines on this waste management story. We are backing this effort in real and practical way, including I have committed to support the waste management in the city of Nairobi with 2 billion Kenya shillings from the national government annually. Because we must clean this city. As I campaigned in the city of Nairobi, I made a commitment that we are going to clean this city. Because it is not just a city issue. It is a public health issue, an environmental issue, a dignity issue, and a national image issue. If roads must be expanded, they will be expanded. If enforcement must be, encroachments must be removed, they will be removed. If drainage channels must be cleared, they will be cleared. If illegal structures must come down, they will come down. And if systems must be reorganized to restore order, they will be reorganized. We, honorable members, must stop doing anything otherwise. We cannot demand world-class infrastructure while defending lawlessness. We cannot cry about floods and then resist drainage works. We cannot complain about congestion and then oppose road expansion. We cannot demand cleanliness while protecting illegal dumping. We cannot ask for order while resisting every intervention required to create it. Progress, friends, has a cost. Reforms has a cost. Order has a cost. But you know what? Disorder also has a cost. Keeping to the status quo has a cost. But the good news is the cost of reform, the cost of order, the cost of change is always lower than that of indecision or status quo. So let's make our choice. And for us who are seated in this auditorium, I'm speaking to you as president and as a friend. If we are not prepared to bear the temporary inconvenience of fixing this city, then we must stop pretending that we are serious about changing it. Sindio, marafiki? Yes. For your information, State House has received notice from the multi-agency team reclaiming riparian land that part of the State House boundary, the wall along Kirichwa Kubwa River, falls within the riparian reserve, and it must come down. Yes, it must come down. They have told me at least 15 meters from the high mark. And I promise you that wall will come down. Honorable members, the great cities of the world did not become great by accident. They became great because leaders, like the ones seated in this assembly, chose discipline over disorder, long-term planning over short-term politics, and public interest over private convenience. We are also modernizing markets because Nairobi's economy is built not only in boardrooms and office towers, but more in markets, workshops, stalls, transport corridors, and trading ecosystems where ordinary Kenyans struggle and strive every day. I know many members here know what we are doing in that space. And I must say, the citizens and residents of this great city of Nairobi are beginning to be part of that change. I was very touched when I saw the leadership of Gikomba Market step forward and say, we want our market to be built. Stop the politics. We want our market to be built. You know, the leadership of Gikomba Market came to see me. They came and I had a long chat with them. They told me, Mr. President, when it rains in Nairobi, we cannot go and do our business. We have to wear gumboots. Our customers cannot get to our stalls. Our stalls, rain comes through. We cannot do business this way. I am putting public resources to change Gikomba. And I am committed. The people I am struggling with are land grabbers. People who have taken public land and made their own. And let me tell you, good people, we have to confront this head on. We are going to transform Gikomba. In the next 6 months, you will see another Gikomba. At least first. And that is just phase 1. Then I have another, that phase 1 will cost us about 800 million. And then we will put in another 3.8 billion. And then I'm going to put in another 5 billion shillings. Because Gikomba is a national market. People come from Meru. People come from Murang'a. People come from Busia. People come from Homa Bay. People come from every part of Kenya to Gikomba to get their wares. Surely, when a leader goes and mobilizes people in Gikomba and tells them, and I'm sorry, I'm not talking about anybody here. I'm just, and goes and tells people in Gikomba, don't move. Continue to do your business in filth, in the mud. And that leader, they buy nothing from Gikomba. They never go to Gikomba to shop anything. When they finish talking in Gikomba, they will go to Sarit Center and do their shopping. They will go to the mall in Karen, the hub, and do their trading. Honestly, are we being fair? Surely. We want members of this assembly to be able to confidently walk to Gikomba and be part of the customers of the people, the traders in Gikomba, because their trading spaces are decent. For too long, Nairobi has been a city of immense promise, trapped by chronic dysfunction. A city of extraordinary potential, suffocated by disorder, delayed by indecision, undermined by poor planning, and held hostage by interests that profit from chaos. This city that should be the pride of Africa has too often been forced to settle for standards that are frankly unacceptable. And let us be honest, this did not happen overnight. It happened because for many years, too many leaders chose comfort over courage. Too many people in positions of responsibility looked away when hard decisions were required. Too many tolerated mediocrity. Too many postponed action. Too many chose political convenience over public good. And the result is what we see around us. A capital city where flooding still kills our people. A capital city where garbage too often defines our neighborhoods. A capital city where roads are congested, drainage is broken, sewage is overstretched, planning is weak, and basic order is too often absent. A capital city where too many residents still live without dignity in the very city whose labor, talent, and expertise sustain our national economy. This, honorable members, cannot continue. A serious city guarantees mobility. It guarantees water, sanitation, safety. A serious city plans where people live, how they move, how they trade, and how infrastructure supports growth. A serious city protects green spaces, manages waste properly, and creates a dignified urban environment in which enterprise and opportunity can thrive. That is the standard we must now impose upon ourselves. And it is why this cooperation agreement matters. It is not about transferring functions. I want to tell you this. This is not another NMS. It is not about weakening devolution. It is not about confusion of mandates. It is about ending fragmentation and restoring coordinated delivery in the one city where failure carries national consequence. Yes, the failure of this city is not just about Nairobi. It carries a national consequence. It matters to Kenya. This framework is fully anchored in the Constitution and the law. Article 6.2, as was read to us by the Speaker, is clear that two levels of government are distinct yet interdependent and must conduct their relations through consultation and cooperation. Article 189 requires both levels of government to work together and provide for structured collaboration. The Urban Areas and Cities Act recognizes the special status of the capital city. The Intergovernmental Relations Act provides for joint committees and intergovernmental coordination between the city of Nairobi and the national government. And under this cooperation agreement, formalized on the 27th of February 2026, this year, during the inaugural Joint Steering Committee, we now have structured implementation platform backed by an initial Kenya shillings 80 billion to drive feasible and measurable transformation in the city of Nairobi. I have listened carefully to what Kenyans say about our city. I have heard their frustration. I have heard their disappointment. I have heard their anger sometimes. And I have heard that residents say, what businesses say, what visitors say, what investors say, and what Kenyans in the diaspora say when they compare Nairobi with other cities across Africa and beyond. And the truth is this, many of them are right. They are right to ask why our capital still struggles with basic urban order. They are right to ask why growth has not been matched by planning. They are right to ask why this city, with all its importance, has so long looked and functioned below its status. They are right to demand better. From fewer than 300,000 people in 1960, Nairobi has grown into a city of close to 5 million residents, swelling even further during the day. But this growth has not been matched by the infrastructure, the systems, planning discipline, and service delivery that a modern metropolis require. Your governor here keeps reminding me discussions he's had with other mayors and county governors on the kind of resources they deploy for residents to get what is rightfully required of a modern city. More than 60% of residents live in this city of ours in informal settlements. The honorable members seated here will bear me witness. Every member here, majority of every member here, has a slum in their ward. Some of the wards are slums 100%. Access to piped water remains inadequate and unreliable. Sanitation and sewage systems remains under severe strain. Mobility is constrained by congestion and insufficient transport infrastructure. Environmental degradation and encroachment have made flooding more destructive. Spatial inequality, unemployment, and exclusion continue to fuel insecurity and vulnerability in parts of our city. I remember when I visited Mathare, Mabatini to be specific, where this member represents. I didn't sleep that night, I must admit, seeing what I saw in Mabatini. And it is the reason why today we are building a modern school in Mabatini. These are not isolated problems. These are symptoms of a city that has for too long been managed reactively instead of strategically. Why? Because Nairobi is too important to Kenya to be governed casually. It is too central to our national prosperity to be left to drift. It is too consequential to our international standing to be allowed to decay under the weight of indecision and excuses. Today, honorable members, Nairobi contributes 27.5% of Kenya's economy, generating over 4.1 trillion Kenya shillings annually. It hosts the only United Nations headquarters in the global south. It is home to diplomatic missions, multinational firms, regional institutions, innovators, entrepreneurs, workers, traders, and millions of Kenyans who come here every day in pursuit of opportunity. Nairobi is not merely a city. It is a national asset. And if we are serious about Kenya's future, then we must be serious about Nairobi. That is why the cooperation agreement signed between the national government and the Nairobi City County government on the 17th of February 2026 is not a ceremonial document. It is not public relations. It is not politics for headlines. Honorable members, your role in the governance and proper functioning of Nairobi City County cannot be overstated. You have a duty to ensure that the needs and concerns of your constituents are properly addressed. I want to thank you, honorable members, for your efforts in reviewing and approving this agreement. It demonstrates your commitment to addressing the challenges that our great city faces. It is a deliberate act of national correction. It is an acknowledgement that the problems of Nairobi have grown too large, too urgent, and too consequential to be handled through fragmentation, tough wars, bureaucratic hesitation, or business as usual governance. We have therefore made a clear decision. The era of drift must end, and the era of coordinated execution must begin. And, honorable members, we can only succeed together. Because what Nairobi needs now is not another round of speeches. It is not another cycle of blame. It is not another season of complaints. Nairobi needs disciplined leadership. Nairobi needs order. Nairobi needs execution. Nairobi needs results. And that is exactly what we intend to deliver together.